come with jokes, stamp. And this is, have you all seen one of these before? This is actually what happens after all this work that you do and your employee goes to the consulate. This is what they put in their passport. Except instead of that, I've never seen anyone that really looks like this. This is like some alien or something. It's missing some eyeballs. But you can see that there are several items listed on the document. And this would be in a person's passport. This would be a page in their passport. And this would be adhered or sealed into the passport. So a few things that will be helpful. As you notice here, I guess I'll point out the things I think are really important. One is, sometimes there are annotations or notes on the visa, like we mentioned earlier today, and this is where you might look for those. Right here in this spot, the embassy has authority to put instructions to the person who might receive that individual at U.S. Customs Immigration when they come in to the United States. It might say, this is for a specific purpose, only for 90 days, or for entry to Chicago and nowhere else, or these kinds of things. So hopefully you don't have anything in this box and it's just an open-ended invitation to come, but sometimes they do put annotations here, and that's what it even says, annotation, right there if you can read really well. M means what? What would you suppose it'd be if they didn't have multiple entry? Single, right? Singular, singular. That's what we heard at the restaurant the other day. We ate at this great restaurant. They seat everybody together. It was really cozy. So you go in. It's so popular. You have 3 people. They'll just bring one more. Singular, singular, and they like bring them in. I thought that was really cool. This is a happy traveler. That's a person's name. First name, happy traveler. Surname. This is where they tell you which embassy or consulate issued the visa. Here's the visa category. Generally, you'll see over here. B1, B2 in this case. Later in the green card process, you're required to give a visa number. And notice it's not highlighted, but wherever they ask for a visa number, where's that? It's that red number right there. Okay? It's that red number right there. That's the number that they're asking for in the green card process where it says visa number. Again, here are validity dates. This would be the first day that the person, or actually 10 days before this, the person could enter the U.S. under this status. And then the expiration date might govern the final date that they would have to either extend the status or that they could not come into the U.S. again. Any other question? Any questions about this visa stamp? Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the important pieces. So I-94, again, I think we covered this the other day. It's kind of interesting. I-94 is typically what most people get. Has anyone ever seen a green one that is I-94W? You don't see this too often in India because there are only certain countries that are given this visa.
Once we receive the visa stamping, if the name or spelling mistake or date of birth is mismatched, is there any problem with the immigration? Or?
There could be problems, yeah. I would recommend if there's mismatch that you make another appointment at the consulate and try to get that fixed. But otherwise, if it's emergency, they'll probably still understand and you can get through, but it's better to try to fix it if you have time. I-94W is for visa waiver countries. So some countries are given permission to enter the U.S. without any visa. They can just come for up to 90 days for any purpose, a visit. If immigration thinks that they are intending immigrants, they'll make them go away just like anyone else, but generally they get a pretty wide latitude of permission to come. So they get a green arrival departure. So basically the form has general identification number, a name, there's even a number at the top, and that number has significance down the road. These are things that we have talked about mostly already. Question? Go ahead. Okay. So if you get through all of this visa application stuff and you finally get to the U.S., you filled out that I-94 card, they're going to stamp it, and they're going to usually staple it in the person's passport. And it's a little card about this big. You staple it in there, and if you lose it, that's a bad thing, you know? It's not a good thing. It isn't the worst thing. It's not the end of the world, but it's just not very good. You don't want to lose that. In fact, they gave me one when I came to India. I have the equivalent of an I-94. It's not what they call it, but it's an entry record that I came, when I came, and when I've got to leave. Okay? So it shows the immigration classification. Why don't we, I think we've got one here that we're going to look at. Okay. This is what the I-94 looks like. Has everyone seen one of these? Maybe? Some point or another?
Yes.
Some of you have seen so many of these, it's making you sick to see this one, right? But, you know, that's what we're here for a little bit. So, where's the I-94 number? Is that somewhere down here?
7.
Oh, okay, that's up here, right? That's right. And what's the day the person has to leave? Is that somewhere over? Oh, no, that's their birthday, huh? This is the day they've got to get out. Again, this is the day the immigration officer just writes in there. Now, I have news for you. These people, most of them did not go to college as long as you did. Okay? Most of them, they just went to high school or something, and they don't always know how to add 3 years from today's date and things like that. Okay? I'm kind of being funny, but in a way I'm really not. Okay? They're not always very educated. So that's, again, best practice is when you're getting that stamped and they're writing, keep an eye on that guy. Make sure they do it right. Make sure you get your 3 years or whatever it is. And correct them if they make a mistake. This date here is the date that the person actually entered the U.S. And here is where the officer writes the classification that they get. I'll tell you another thing that happens sometimes. These guys are so dumb, they even write like B2 if the person is an H-1B occasionally. They're so busy doing their work, they'll do this. So, again, keep an eye on them, and if the person who is coming, they just flew for 20 hours, they're tired, they're not thinking about this, so they let that maybe just go a slip, and then the next thing the immigration lawyer or one of you is saying, hey, you're not even an H-1B, you're a B2, what happened? Now there's issues. Now additional work has to be done.